Okay. I'm about to have a good day. I'm about to have a good day.
Hi, this is Greg McCullough coming to you live again from the Alter Self Mindset Set. And today we're going to be discussing some things that are having to do with the Bible, some essentials that have to do with our spirituality, and we're going to try to get you more on point with your personal development and maybe trying to hit some goals. All right, so let me ask you a question before we get started. Are you ready to take control of your mindset? Are you ready to unlock your next level? If you would, just please book a free discovery call with Alter Self Mindset Set today. Let's map out your path to growth, success, and unstoppable confidence and breakthrough, and start now. But before we do that, I want us to just go into thinking about some things here, some essentials that have to do with how our spirituality works. The Bible talks about us being like a tree planted by the rivers of water. Understanding that God had in mind for us that we would work and use Him to access all the time like a door. All right, so the idea that I want to discuss with you today is of imagination, of desire, and personal development. Okay, so we'll be discussing some things here. I'm accessing the book of Neville Goddard. Okay, this is The Power of Awareness. And physical immobility, desire, and the assumption of our wish already fulfilled. I want to talk about those things today, and I want to take a closer look at discovering what is the door on our calls that we have where I'm talking with some people in our mastermind group. We were discovering that the door is always wide open. The door to everything is always wide open. Jesus claims that He is the door. Okay, and it says, in fact, in John 9, or John 10, 9 through 11, it says, I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved. Okay, so our salvation comes through this door that is Jesus. He says He is the mediator between God and man, the man Christ Jesus, and that you shall go in and out and find pasture. Okay, so this is a journey where you're having to find these places to lay down, or a green pasture would be one of life-giving contents. Okay, so realizing, of course, the next verse there, it says, the thief cometh not but to steal and to kill and to destroy. So we're going to study here a little bit about what are the thieves, okay, and the questions that we'll have in the end. My good friend Rita put this together, and she's so good at this. She put together a set of questions for us in our mastermind just to give ourselves kind of a self-examination, a place where we could, discover what's going on with ourselves, kind of work on it like we have a toolbox out. And we're trying to figure out what our paradigms are set to. So realizing that, our paradigms they're trying to keep us safe. Okay, we've learned this all our life. We've learned how to act and how to do things a certain way that keep us kind of hiding in the dark, that won't allow the light to be expressed through us. And realizing that the Christ consciousness, or the I am consciousness, can be accessed at any time. Okay, but realizing that, you realize that we have a set of mental faculties. We have a place where we have to think from rather than the objective world. Okay, if you can hear, see, smell, and taste and touch it, it hadn't got a whole lot to do with anything of faith. Okay, just realize that everything that's in the objective world has to do with your senses, but everything that has to do with something that's coming to you is coming through imagination, the will, memory, and most important, the imagination. Okay, your perception is it's a thing that can be sharpened, but it has to work with your imagination. The Bible claims that all things work together for the good to them that love God. Okay, so the idea is that everything in life is happening. It's always happening. You can't stop life. Only thing you can learn to do is to use what is life and have it. Have life. You have to make choices and decisions to be able to have life. He said that Jesus said that he came that you might have life and have it more abundantly. And if you're living, does not mean if you're alive does not mean that you're having life. Everybody has a chance at life. They come through choices and decisions. How we do these things is largely depicted by the fact if we'll act in faith or not. If we'll allow ourselves to go farther, if we won't procrastinate ideas that we have, if we have inspirations, if we act on them, those are the chances and opportunity to have life. Okay? I will say this. If you desire a thing, it means that you're going to allow God an opportunity to work through you. It means that you're going to allow God to go farther with inspiration. Okay, you're allowing him to come through you like a pond, allowing water to flow through it. And we all know that if a pond doesn't have an exit and it has water that wants to flow through it, then it's going to be a stagnant pond. Okay, the life comes from the fact that it has a flow. Okay, the Bible says that we shall be planted like a tree by the rivers of water. Okay, and a river is a thing that's flowing all the time. It's not a lake, even though a lake might have a current. It's got life in it, but a river is something that's flowing continually. Okay, and it's always changing. Anybody that's lived near a river or has ever been on a river realizes that a river is constantly changing. Life is just this way. Everything in life is moving. All right, so this idea that change would take place is inevitable. Okay, that's how we make the production for God, is that we change. This is the thing that God cannot do. He says that I am God, I change not. So realizing that, our job then is to make choices and decisions that would change not only us, but it would change people around us. It will change everything in your environment. It'll change your results in life, but you have to make choices and decisions to make this happen. Okay, so working with desire is the first part. Okay, and releasing desire. Okay, I'm looking in the book here. I got a few places, but desire is to surrender yourself completely. Okay, you got to get you out of the way to release this potential that's coming through you. You have to work with a feeling. Okay, you have to work with being whole and being possessed by it. You have to live a magnificent idea. Okay, you have to constantly and continually focus on what it is that you want to make in production. Okay, desire being released would be of minimum effort. Okay, you shouldn't be involved in this a whole lot at all. A steadied, concentrated attention. I know I've heard Bob Proctor say this a lot. Everyone is doing two things. And most of all this, they are a weakness of attention and poverty of imagination. So I have a few questions here, and we'll get to them in just a minute. Desire is one of the things that we have to focus on. Physical immobility. This is where you have to be still. You notice the Bible would say this in Scripture. It says, He leadeth me beside the still waters. Just realize that. You'll be like a tree planted by the water, and everything's coming to you, and change is coming to you all the time. And then he would lead you by the still waters. So this still waters, this is the place where you are inside. This is this where you're whole at on the inside, where you're complete, where you know you're certain about things, and you're still because you know that desire is coming through. You've got the right king in the kingdom in charge of things. Okay, you've released it completely to him, and you're being still to realize it. And the Bible says also, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Okay, so there's salvation in every choice that you make. Okay, just realize that. There's always the ability for God to be doing this thing of salvation. The first part about salvation is realizing in awareness that God lives within you. Realizing that God is using you as a passageway for more advanced thoughts, more expression into this world, fulfillment. Okay. And when you become full of the things that are his attributes, like mercy and peace and grace and truth and love, when you become full of those things, you not only get the benefit by giving it to someone else, you perform the dynamic of give and it shall be given. So everything that we do is working with law. Okay. The releasing of desire works with law. Okay. The physical immobility works with law. Okay, you should be still. We go into this. If you think about how it works, when you go to sleep at night, when you become physically immobile, and you're realizing then that you're slipping off into the subconscious. Working with the subconscious mind is how we program what happens in our consciousness. You only become aware of things that are first programmed on the inside. There are a set of systems, a set of programs that are actually running your life. Okay? You're getting some of it from your self-image. Your self-image is how you see yourself. It's how you see the things that are around you or what you consider to be true. You're getting it through paradigms. Okay? That's a part of your subconscious control. The paradigms are a set of beliefs or ideas that you hold to be true. Okay? Or habits that you have. They're what are designed to keep you safe. This physical immobility has to do with that. Like if you're unconscious, well, you can't be making decisions while you're unconscious. So that's the part of you that's the subconscious that runs everything. So you slip in and out of it when you go to sleep at night and when you wake up in the morning. The next one is the assumption of the wish already fulfilled. Fulfillment is the fact of you go ahead and program how your subconscious works before you slip out of consciousness. Okay? So you're programming it all day long. You're assuming, which we discovered before about it being, assumption being the highest order of faith. Okay? Because you're using totally your imagination to program how things are coming to you. This is what Jesus means when he says, I am the mediator between God and man, the media, the pictures that you create, the things that you consider to be true to you, the truths you tell yourself, how you speak to yourself. All these things are the assumption of something already being accomplished. Okay? So one way or the other, you're either working in ignorance or you're working with understanding when you're making these assumptions. You're assuming that things are working out for your good, or you're ignoring it and life's just happening to you and you're slipping slowly to death. Just realize that. Okay, so the law of assumption works in a thing called give and it shall be given. So if you assume that God is already in control of the thing and it's already done, the great law then gives you the things that you truly believe you desire. All right, so it works by vacuum too. You have to create, there's the vacuum law. We discovered all these laws in a video series that I did on Raymond Hollywood's work, working with the law. So the vacuum law of prosperity is that you must create a place for the good that you desire. And where do we do this at? In personal righteousness. And we'll talk about that in another chapter in this same book. But righteousness is the fact that you would take this from a place of what is true to you and not be bringing it into the objective world. It will come into the objective world on its own. But you have to perform this place of the wish already being fulfilled. So fulfillment is just that. It works like electricity. Okay? It can be used for, it says it can be used for greedy, selfish purposes as well as noble ones. Okay? But you should always be born in mind ignoble thoughts and actions inevitably result in unhappy consequences. Okay? So if you want to perform this thing of happiness is one of the most prevalent understandings is that this law works only for those having a devout religious objective. Okay, so this is a fallacy. It's not true. It works either way. But if you are in tune with what God's trying to perform through you with desire, and you're trying to work with inspiration to make this happen, believe me, God's got a mountain of things that He'd like to accomplish through you. And some of the greatest people in the world that have ever existed have used this to bring us the most wonderful things. We're in a room right now that's lit by light bulbs, and of course Edison brought that to us. Okay, and every day we drive in automobiles, and before any of these things came to pass, they were first held in imagination. Like the Wright brothers brought us the airplane, right? They had to model the bird, and they brought it right into this world. So believe me, the things that we can do they're immense. But I wanted to run down a few things here, and that's just the essentials. Okay, the desire of something, the physical immobility of who you are, and the assumption of the wish already being fulfilled in the imagination. So those are the three things that were in the book that I wanted to bring to light, and that Jesus is the door. Okay, He's the door, and it's always wide open. Let me say this. The first question that I had that I want to kind of let you interview yourself with, and I'll give a little anecdotal to it, but it says, what distractions are you still labeling essential when they're really just optional clutter? What distractions are you working with? What do you consider to be something that's in the way of where your goal is taking you? Okay, what do you always use and fill in as filler to being what should be the truth? Okay, what are you allowing to block you? Let me say that. Anything, because I got some things that I'm always trying to overcome. Okay, I'm just like you. There's just little road bumps that I'm always trying to discover a way that are working for my good. All right, always working on my attitude, trying to improve that. Always trying to come up with a new narrative to where I can use it to become more powerful. And if we do anything here today, I'd like to just make you more powerful. I'd like to let these laws work for you. I'd like to let salvation work for you. I'd let you realize that if God lives in you and He lives through you, and the purpose that you have would give your life meaning, that you can use all these things to become very powerful. So that's the first question. What distractions are you still labeling essential? And are they really just optional clutter? Okay. There's number two. If today you lost everything in your material external world, what part of you would remain untouched? And is that the real essential? Okay, these are great questions. Like, would it be really essential for the part of you that you've invested in? Would it remain? If today you lost everything, what have you been working on? Is it more important than like a car, or a job or whatever? Is that thing more important than the thing that's on the inside of you? Just realize there's some things that you should be working on, like time you're spending with others and how you're loving them and how you're paying attention to them and how you're loving God and allowing Him to come through you and be more expressive into this world. I hope if we make this video today that this will be something that's like how I can express myself to you, spend time with you. All right, so if today you lost everything in your material, external world, what part of you would remain untouched? And is it the real essential things? Number three, is your foundation solid or set to crumble at the moment life tests it? Okay, because life, like I told you, life is happening to you all the time. It's like a river. It's always changing you. Believe it or not, if you don't decide to change right along with it, you might get wiped out by it. Okay, so just realize that a life of change and a life of changed ideas keeps you safe. It keeps you safe to always be changing and using life to help you grow. See, something that's not growing is dying. And something that's not being expressive is being depressive. You ever wonder why people have huge amounts of depression or can't explain why they are depressed? It's because of the opposite word. They're not expressed. God's not being allowed to be moving through them and changing them continually. We're made for that. We're made for change. Okay, and the choice and decision we make are either change us or we can be ignorant and we'll go right to death. All right, so number four. What truths have you always known deep down but avoided because of owning it would mean a demand of change? There we are again, right back to change. But what truths have you created around things that would cause you to procrastinate or stop or stand still or do this thing of ignorance, just ignoring it? Okay? So what truths have you built in? Okay? What truth have you always known down deep inside but avoided because of owning it would mean and demand a change? Okay, so what thing have you known for a long time that you were supposed to be doing? What is the truth that you know that if you explored it just a little bit, what if you wanted to sing? Okay, or stand up in front of people. I know this is one of the things for me is the fact of being able to talk in front of a crowd. Okay, that was always some kind of challenging thing. And why? I didn't spend any time doing it. I wasn't any good at it because I hadn't practiced it. Okay, so now I've gotten over that. I don't have a problem about that. But I built the truth around it, about being shy about it. Okay, about the people might judge me over what I might say or how I might come out. Here or there, I'm allowing God to come out if I do. So realize there's some truths that you've built into, and it's causing you to avoid life or owning what world this would bring to you. Okay? Demand it. And I tell you what, if you'll do this and you'll just release, like we talked about before, just have this physical immobility. Realize that if you die to yourself, like just become void of anything that belongs to the character that you have, and realize creating the new character allows God to be expressed, oh, you're going to have a great life. Use that inspiration to work with. All right, number 5. If your awareness is your essential core of life, are you feeding it or are you starving it? Remember we said before, this is what I heard Bob Proctor say a lot of times. He said we have a weakness of attention or a poverty of imagination. You realize you have to feed your imagination from this reality, from the things that you can remember. It's a cluster of things that become pictures in your mind. You can feed it pictures that are true about things that just coming to you. Your subconscious does never say no. All it says is yes. All it says is yes, that's the way it is. It just believes what you tell it. So if you tell it enough times and you repeat it enough times, it becomes a hardened fact. And the facts then come from the subconscious mind that bring you all of your results. You can program your own mind. Just realize that. You're the one who's giving it the program it has right now. And the paradigms that you have inside of you are ones that you came genetically predispositioned with. And the things that you've built as a child to keep you safe. All right? So you've got all that going on. It's your awareness. If you'll work and you'll study, and you'll try and find out the truths that come along with the character you're trying to design, you can become anything you'd like to become. And it's a method of God. It's creativity. And this is how He's designed us to work, and we got to get used to this. We got to be able to bring things into the world in order to keep ourselves safe. So through change in decisions and choices that we make, we can become this production of God. And that pretty much wraps up what I wanted to say for today. And we'll get back into it on the next time. But like I say, if you want to book a call with us, a one-on-one complimentary coaching call, please feel free to reach out. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. If you want to message me, I'm sure you can find that on one of our sites at Alter Self Mindset. Thank you so much. Till next time.
Okay. I'm about to have a good day. I'm about to have a good day.